Hello and welcome to our Grow Your Business special on businesses and their owners who are thinking outside the square and are building quality operations. I've got up close and personal with these business winners to see how they've learnt to become the cream of the crop. Joshua Nichols is the founder of Platinum Electrical, who has learned how to franchise tradespeople. Joshua, at a young age, took out the Telstra Small Business Award of the Year and has won many awards for his great business feats. Tom Baker is the founder of Mr. Black, which is setting the drinking world alight with his unique alcoholic coffee brew. Angus Woods has thought outside the square to create a multifaceted business which actually rates financial advisors in a post-Royal Commission world where consumers have become increasingly suspicious about advisors. The business is called Advisor Ratings. What else? Gavin Slater is the CEO of Nimble, which is an online business designed to provide loans to those Aussies who can't qualify for loans from conventional lenders. Bradley Beer is from BMT Tax Depreciation, who runs a successful quantity surveyor business. And for anyone contemplating being a property investor, the big takeout lesson is don't buy a property without a quantity surveyor. All right, Josh Nicholas, thanks for joining us on the program.
Thanks for having me.
I love having you on the show. I've known you since you were a kid.
Yes.
How old were you when you started your business?
I was 22 years of age.
Yeah. And for those people who don't know, Platinum Electrical, is that still your name or have you added to it?
No, we've changed it now. We're Platinum Electricians.
Okay.
So, yeah, and the little theory behind that is more talking about who we are, not so much what we do.
Because electrical could be a tech company, it could be a maker of electrical. You're in the people business, aren't you?
100%. And our culture of our business, everything about our business is people, is relationship.
Yeah.
So it's very much, we decided, that was probably about 5 years ago now. So we were originally Platinum Electrical Contractors, and then we went to Platinum Electricians. Sort of sharper, more modern, little tweak. Would never recommend doing it again. Changing a brand.
Yeah.
So little, just changing a few little letters off the end. It was such an exercise.
Okay, take people back to how you ended up. Well, you were an electrician, weren't you?
Correct.
Yeah, and then you decided you wanted to grow the business and you needed to have a good way of doing that. So take us through those initial thoughts.
Yeah, for me, in the first 5 years, I grew the business quite well. Obviously, the story goes where in the first 5 years, I grew to a place where the business could run without me. So I had 12 vans on the road and I had a team running the business, and I got to that stage in business where I thought, what next from here? I didn't really want to keep growing up. There was more risk involved with that and taking on bigger projects and possibly getting into construction, which really wasn't my sort of thing.
The big builder developers can really bring good tradespeople undone, can't they?
Quite easily, quite quickly. You have to be very sharp. It's all around clauses and right solicitors, and it wasn't a game that I really wanted to get into.
You want economic cycles to work in your favour as well.
100%, 100%. So for me, I went to a seminar and it was on business shares and property, and there was one little section there. It was in New Zealand, and there was one little section that ran for about an hour of the day, over 3 days, and it was about franchising. And it was just one of those moments where sometimes people say to you, there's that moment in your life where a light bulb goes off. And they mentioned franchising. To me, it was just automatic. It was, I could grow the brand out. It was a very relational model. And for me, I came home from that and went, this is the direction I'm going to take.
Okay. At what stage did you win your first business award? Was it when you were just the one-man, 12-van guy, or was it beyond that?
No, it was the biggest one around that sort of 12-van period was the Telstra Business Awards. That was back in 2007.
And that's probably when I first. Well, I might have got you before, because you won an Australia Post Award.
Yes,
as well.
That's right, in 2005. Good memory.
Yeah.
And then in 2007, we took out the national title for Telstra.
Yeah. For small business or for that?
That was in the category by memory from around 20 to 50 employees, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So after that, you thought, well, the next stage is this franchising.
Correct.
Idea.
Yeah.
Okay. But surely a lot of people, and I know you do know some pretty smart people in business, because I've met, and I know some of your advisors and whatever, they were said, franchising and tradespeople hasn't really ever been done before, to my knowledge, to any success.
Yes, it was something where I came back after getting the initial concept of franchising, had no idea if you could do it with the trade business. But for me, straight away I learnt that I was what I class one of the, you could call lucky ones, or ones that were happy to pay a lot of money to get a lot of advice to get me to a business model. But there's so many tradies out there that are fantastic at what they do on the tools, but have never learned business.
No.
And we all think, myself included at the time, thought, I'm a good tradie, I'll make a good businessman. And soon you discover quite quickly, I have no idea what I'm doing in the business world. So I thought, if I could take the lessons that I've learned and had success with and replicate that to fantastic tradesmen out there, equip them with the business side, it works for me, it works for them. This has to work. That's what I thought at the time.
Yeah, okay. And how easy was it to actually marry those two things in? Fantastic tradesmen who then were willing to adopt a fantastic business system. How easy was it?
Like everything in business, you get in going, this will be a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Look, it's had its challenges, I won't lie. It was a huge setup. We're 10 years into franchising now, so really since 2007 to now we've been on that journey, or a little bit past I suppose. But no, it was a challenge. For me, I love working with people. I love growing people, love growing businesses. So they always say, if your why is big enough, the how becomes easy. So for me, the why was always I wanted to help grow people, help turn them into business owners, and then from there, what their business can achieve in their own lives. So there's been hurdles, there's still hurdles today, but we've still been having a lot of growth year on year on year. It's been a fantastic journey and still enjoying it.
Well, you know, I've watched the franchising system for a long, long time, and the two standout things that seem to be critical for the success of a franchising system is the calibre of the master franchisor, the franchisor, and the systems he or she creates around it, and then the calibre of the people selected as well. Because I've seen some great businesses suffer because a couple have a divorce and everything goes wrong, and the business is still good, and even the location where they're working is good, but the whole family thing. How have you dealt with those kinds of curveball challenges?
Yes, so no, very interesting fact. I'm not sure what are the divorce rates, but when you get any sort of great sum of people together, and a lot of our franchise owners are husband and wife or married couples, that the reality for us is, I think the divorce rate might be 50%, or as alarming as that is. So we learned that part of our business model is that when couples go through hiccups in their marriage, or that's part of our responsibility to help them through that process. So we have platinum chaplains involved. So we found ourselves getting a little bit too involved with the franchise owners, with personal stuff kicking in, because our heart was to help them, but there's a line there you've got to be careful with. So we now have people that are trained and that can counsel.
Do you contract it out, or you have it in-house?
No, it's contracted out.
For professionals.
For professionals, when it gets into the real sort of heavy stuff, but it's part of our business model.
How many franchise outlets have you got?
There's 52 franchise outlets as we speak now.
And what states you in?
We're in all states. We're just not in Tassie.
Okay. Is that something that's going to happen one day?
It will happen one day, but again, like you said earlier, it just comes down to really finding that right person. We've got a huge market down there, and we're just trying to wait for that really right person.
Okay. So looking back at your time, and you've already mentioned a few things that some people, if they're astute, would realise has been critically important to your success. But if you have to pinpoint the major moments in your life where you learnt something that has changed you forever as a businessman, what would those moments be? One was clearly discovering franchising. That was, what else?
Big question.
I want a big answer too, Josh.
All right. Defining moments for me is, probably one of the, I would say, biggest thing for me is giving, what I call giving debt the respect it deserves. In this day and age that we live in, everything's buy now, pay later, drive the fancy car now, do this now, do that now, holiday now, have the big house now, pay later, pay later, pay later. I learned very much in the earlier days, in the start of franchising, back around that sort of 08, 09 era, where for me, personally speaking, I just didn't give debt the respect it deserved. If I was a young businessman, I was like, yep, we need more vans. Yep, we need franchising. Yep, we need to trademark. Yep, we need to. And all of a sudden I realised I had this huge amount of debt, and all it takes is one little slow period, or like you said, the economics change of what's going on, or the building industry, and suddenly you're like, oh, the debts don't go away or slow down with a slowdown. So for me, the defining moment for me now is I don't just get into debt very easy. I pretty well run debt free, unless it's income producing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be one of my biggest things now, and I teach my franchise owners the same thing.
Okay. I also know that you have understood the value of having people advise you who know stuff that you don't know. How important have advisors or mentors or business coaches been to you?
Super important. I wouldn't be where I am without having my business coach. He's still involved in the business to this day and has been for the last 15 years of our 19-year life.
Okay, so you have been perceived, at least by Telstra, as a champion businessman. All right, and you and I know exactly where you were then compared to where you are now, but you were. Your achievements were brilliant. But you, a bit like Federer still has a coach. You 100%. Still have a coach. Is that the sort of thing?
100%. And like I teach my franchise owners, that life is about leveraging off other people that have been there and done it, or know more than you. And in this life, it's short, and you need to keep learning off the people that have been there and done it. There's books, there's all sorts of things online. As you know, there's so many people to leverage off, and I have many people in my life that I leverage off for all different areas: personal, business, relationships. But to me, it's all about leverage.
So when I met you, say you're a kid, big goals, big aspirations, and you were kicking goals. But what about leadership? How good a leader were you then compared to how you are now? And if you're better, how come you're better at leadership?
Yeah, I think with leadership, I was brought up in an environment with my parents and how they raised me. I think there was natural leadership there that I didn't even know, that I discovered when I first got into business, that it wasn't sort of till I look back and people saying to me around leadership and things like that. For me, my leadership style has never been dictatorship, it's always been relational. It still is this day. I wouldn't say it's changed massively since then, but what has come into the fold, obviously, with experience in business, is that you learn along the way. There's mistakes, obviously, you make as a leader where you may not communicate as well as you should have, or learning how to communicate to the right personality types is another big thing. So I think over the years I've got wiser through trial and error, as we all do as leaders, going, oh, I won't do that again. But my leadership style has always been relational. Always, I think people underestimate what they're capable of. Everybody. That you can take people that, it might be a junior position in the business, but sometimes you can just see with the right attitude, the right mentoring, they don't even realise it, but with the right leader that comes along, you can take people to the sky's the limit.
Okay. What book or tape or video had the biggest impact on you as a businessman?
Whoa,
To me, it was John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That was a big one for me.
Yeah, listen, I was just going to say the same thing. That's that's that foundational leadership that I think everyone needs to read. For me, I actually listened to that on the CD. I think it was 21 CDs. Actually, that would have been, it was 4 or 5 CDs. I remember having it on CD.
Yeah, he's very entertaining, John, as well.
Yeah, so that was definitely a fundamental. For me, a couple of recents was the Patty McGrath, I think it's an audio book that's called Powerful, and her Netflix story there in the HR side. That was very good for me. Another book, Scaling Up, which is obviously a quite famous book.
Vern Harnish.
Vern Harnish, so there's been some like that. Look, The Barefoot Investor is a fantastic one as well. He's had huge success, but he's very good with just fundamental money management that you can... a lot of his principles you can apply to business as well. So there's been thousands along the journey. Like I read multiple books every single year. Audio books, I'm always getting information in. That's leverage again.
Yeah. Josh Nichols, you've done the country and your family proud. Well done.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Peter.